Hello, everybody. Just got to reset this up today a bit. Bring that down a smidgen. There we go. Good morning and welcome to Shortcuts for Your Soul. Today is about ending temptation. And I've got Archangel Michael with me, came in. The concept of temptation has been misunderstood by many people, and we're going to clarify what temptation is and how you can apply the concept of ending temptation in your life. You know, vibration is so important. Understanding that you as a sentient conscious awareness with the ability to think and choose for yourself, you can alter the vibration of your body, your mind, and your world. And there are so many things happening in your world right now that will impinge upon your peace, but only if you do not understand that you can maintain your peace in spite of what the world is doing around you. And when Michael came in and started talking about temptation and how what it actually is and what we can do to actually overcome it. Temptation is anything that does not serve in raising the vibrational quality of your body, your mind, and your energy or your emotional field. Anything that lowers it is a temptation, and anything that raises it is an elevation. You want to get rid of temptations. Temptations could be drinking alcohol is a temptation, eating low vibrational food is a temptation, indulging in anger or fear or guilt or shame, indulging in them are all temptations. Doing things that you know are detrimental to your body, that you know are detrimental to your mind, that you know are detrimental to your emotional field. And remember, it's your emotional field is the most important one. Your emotional field is what is organizing matter. Like emotion organizes matter, right? And the more, yes, he says it's really important, especially now that humanity, we need to really get our emotional house in order. All of us. Because there is a process underway as a result of our emotional errors. You know, there's a science called catastrophism. And it's a science that studies reoccurring catastrophes in human history. And one of the things catastrophism has revealed is that for about the last 72,000 years, there have been these events that have been occurring. And these events are usually to do with what's called a recurring micronova, which is where the sun cleans itself out every once in a while and blows off its outer shell of dust and build up material that it no longer needs, and it ejects it into the solar system, and it changes planetary systems. And they say that it's responsible for the great floods, the biblical floods that you hear about, that this event that happens for the last 72,000 years, every 12,500 years, this event happens, that it's a naturally occurring phenomenon. It is an unnaturally recurring phenomenon. About 2 years ago, Jamal Ipsikiu, who was a being that lived in the continent of Eden, when Eden was still a place on Earth 72,000 years ago, at a point when humanity reached a tipping point emotionally where it got tempted by fear and the lower vibrational energies of fear, sensual pleasure for the sake of sensual pleasure alone. And it lost itself in matter. And in losing itself in the fear of matter, because once you're lost in matter, then you believe that the world is the only real thing. So what happens to you in the world affects you as a being. And it's the other way around. What you are as a being affects what's happening in the world. Prior to that 72,000 years, there was a period where there were dinosaurs. 65 million years ago, dinosaurs exist. They estimate that dinosaurs lived for several 100 million years. And yet there were none of these massive recurrent novas every 12,500 years during the time the dinosaurs exist. Why? And Michael said the reason it didn't happen then, because I ask a lot of questions, right, when I'm curious. He said the reason it didn't occur then is the dinosaurs, the life forms then, did not interfere with the flow of energy. They did not have the ability to contradict or go against the existing energies of the time. Whereas humans, when we arose with free will, the ability to differentiate ourselves from our body, to have knowledge, to change what we think, and therefore change what we feel, to alter electrical fields, we began to interact with the world in a way it had never been interacted with before. So as a species, we began to emote and feel and think certain things that began to alter matter. And the number of people that existed in Eden was quite substantial. I understand it was about 2 billion then, existed in Eden. 2 billion beings in a state of highly charged, predominantly fear-based thinking caused the first micronova event, where the sun electrically reacted to the emotional field generated from the planet. Just the same way as right now, I don't know how many of you experience this, but I regularly experience these different multidimensional beings come into my life, and I can feel their energy. And so can many of you. We know this, that you feel the presence of Archangel Michael or Master Jesus or Buddha or Lao Tzu or the Pleiadians. Their energy, you can feel it. It's distinct, it's unique, and it affects us. Well, so too does the feeling of our energy affect time and space as well. Collectively, humanity is in a highly charged emotional state of fear. And this is what's happened every time over the last 72,000 years that's caused this huge shift. So when Michael started out today, he said we want to talk about what temptation is. Temptation's indulging in ideas, emotions, energies that lower the vibrational frequency, the quality of the electrical interaction between ourselves and the environment around us, to the extent where it causes derogatory changes, damaging changes. It's much the same way as you're sitting in a room with somebody and they come in and they're laughing at you, and they're laughing and laughing, and you find yourself laughing. We've all had that experience where somebody starts laughing, and before you know it, everybody's laughing. We've also had the experience where somebody comes in the room and they're really angry and upset, and everybody kind of goes, ooh, dials down. Different expressions of energy creating different effects in time and space and in the people around them. We are all, every one of us, none of us is exempt from creation. You cannot escape the responsibility that you are a creator being, that you have a creative influence on time, space, and matter. You can't escape that. None of us can. I don't care how much money you have or whether you're living on the street. It does not matter. Every single soul on this planet is contributing to the creative process that we're all dynamically experiencing in time space right now. Temptation is surrendering fear. He said that's the biggest one, surrendering fear, because fear is the greatest temptation. It feels more real to you sometimes because it charges your body up. He says fear gives you a rush of adrenaline in your body, which is very highly addictive. Adrenaline is addictive. And so we get addicted to our fear as a species, and that fear affects our behavior. There's no behavior in the human realm that doesn't have an emotion behind it. There's no behavior in the human realm that doesn't have an emotion behind it. All behavior has an emotion behind it. All behavior, whether it's conscious or unconscious, all behavior has an emotion behind it. So temptation is about surrendering your attachment to fear. Surrendering anything that lowers your vibration. Because if you're eating foods that are bad for your body, you're eating meat, you're eating really junky foods, you're eating fast foods, you're eating junky food, you lower the vibration of your body down, you lower its functionality down. When the body's functionality gets lower and lower, it begins to stress, because now it feels threatened. Its vitality is threatened when you put food in it that lowers its frequency down. And that fear that the body instinctually feels that it's not getting what it needs causes a vibration of anxiety in the body. So the body begins to feel anxious because it's not getting the right food, it's not getting the right water, it's not getting the things it actually needs. And it reacts that way and suddenly I'm feeling anxious. So temptations are anything that lowers the vibration of your body, your thoughts, or your emotional energy, that lowers it into a fear frequency. And that's, yes, I understand. He's saying you can call it a fear frequency. Anything that lowers your body to a fear frequency is temptation. Anything that raises your energy up to a love frequency is yes. Yeah. Okay, he's saying that that can only happen when you relinquish fear. You can't go up unless you relinquish fear. You can relinquish fear deliberately and intentionally. And once you do that, your energy will start to go. If you stop drinking caffeine, if you stop drinking alcohol, if you stop doing things and putting things in the body that aren't good for it, and I'm not saying you have to stop completely, but I'm saying what you really need to do is at least remove as much of it as possible from your system so that your body's not being attacked all the time. As you move, just love, okay? So when you start releasing the lower vibrational energies and behaviors from your mind and your body, you start to move up into liberation, which is what love is. Love is liberation. It's a liberating energy. But all temptation is simply fear when we choose to indulge in fear. And right now, globally, humanity is predominantly in a state of fear. And that fear causes changes in the electrical fields in around us, inside us and around us and in others. The minute you can begin to diminish or release that fear, you begin to change what's going on around you. I had an event last night where I was in the presence of somebody, and they needed some guidance. And I said, okay, well, I'll call all my guides in. We'll see what they have to say. And they brought this huge light, this light that literally filled the room. I mean, it became so intense. My body was sweating. The person behind me was going, oh my gosh, I can feel that. And then the person that had asked for this energy got up in terror, and she had to leave. She just suddenly ran out. And I said, guys, what was that about? Why did she run out like that? And they said, because she did not want to surrender her lower vibrational energy. She's attached to her suffering. So there are people that are so attached and so addicted to pain and suffering, addicted to it, that when they're faced with the opportunity to change, they'll run. They'll be afraid to make the change. So be fearless, because when you start changing your old self, when you start liberating yourself from fear and emotion, guilt and shame, changes are going to start to happen in a most profound way. Thank you. We won't be on that long today, I understand. Good morning, everybody. So, temptation, getting rid of temptation, surrendering your temptation, surrendering your attachment to fear and suffering. That's what getting rid of temptation is. That's what temptation is. Fear. Knowledge is not temptation. Knowledge that's detrimental to you, scary and frightening, is detrimental, but you really want to get connected to your love and release your attachment to your fear. Yes. He says, for those of you that choose to waste your time in suffering, your suffering will be extended into other times. You mean lifetimes, right? Yes. Yeah. When you choose to surrender your suffering, you will move on to the other planes, the other dimensions of your soul. When you choose to leave your attachment to your body, you will find liberation. Only when you find love. But you cannot be stuck in suffering. Wow, it's got this other energy coming through right now too. Yeah, I'm not sure who this is, but somebody else coming through. It might be for one of you guys. We'll find out in a moment. So getting to this place of becoming fearless. Fear is the great temptation. That's the only temptation that we all have to let go of our fear. Right? To let go of fear. So I'm just going to pull this up. Thank you. I'm going to take a few questions. I don't think we're going to be going that long today. Something's telling me that I have to go off and do something else. I'm not sure who that is. Good morning, Buddha. Question from Need. Can you please ask Master Yeshua on if I should go ahead with the thing that I had planned with my cousin? Will it solve all the problems that I am having? He says no. The problems that will be solved will be as a result of what you are doing. Whether you choose to do this with your cousin or not, it is your intention that will solve your problems, not the thing that you're doing. If your desire is to function from a place of joy and love, then of course it will solve everything. But if you're doing this to simply solve problems, then your focus is wrong. You will simply create more problems. Yes. Yeah, so if you're doing it from a place of fear, don't do it. If you're doing it to try and get rid of problems rather than contribute to life, yes. So it's about contribution, Naveed. You really want to contribute. Make sure that what you're going to do is going to contribute more light, more love to the world. If it's going to do that, then yes, it will resolve a lot of the old paradigm stuff that you're carrying around with you. Cool. Question from MTOPS Academy. Do the esoterics have influence within our digital electronics? For example, yes, there's an immediate yes to that. They can actually, I've had that happen a few times on this, on the show. So yeah, the esoterics, which are non-physical entities, can interfere with electronics because they function on a non-physical plane. So there's less resistance between how they can interact with matter because they don't have the confinement of self as being identified as matter. Great question. From Tanya, is my sacral chakra or any others blocked that is enabling me to see the truth of me or to connect? Geez, I get an immediate, I don't know. When was the last time I get this image that you should be pushing your tailbone, your tailbone to a tree. Again, it's not a normal tree. This is like a spiky tree, like some sort of a palm tree. You need to put your root chakra into this tree. Again, I don't know where you live, but they're showing me an image of the root chakra being pushed against a tree. Some sort of grounding has to occur for you. Some sort of grounding has to occur for you. Temptation. Oh, excuse me, my device just came loose here. Let's correct that. There we go. Question from Bogumila. Any messages for me in this time of my life? I don't know why, but they're showing an image of a paintbrush being like it's conducting, like a paint, like you've got a paintbrush in your hand and you're conducting. So you're literally swinging this paintbrush around. That is all. So again, whatever that means for you, Bogumila, please let us know. But yeah, it's very clear. It's swinging, like literally, like you're like a conductor's wand, but it's a paintbrush. I don't know why they're choosing a paintbrush for you. Hello. Question from Nicole. My crown chakra is wide open now, and what is the best way to harness the light energy? He's saying in the lotus. He's saying in the lotus, with your head tilted slightly up. In the lotus, with your head tilted slightly up. He says you'll feel like a thin line of light when there's alignment from top, when it is aligned from top to bottom, proper alignment. You will feel a thin line of light enter through the top of your head, and you will feel as if you are suspended in this light as it moves through to the ground, as it moves through the whole body, through that whole central axis of the body. You will feel like you are suspended in this light. Look at Master Jesus here today too. Question from Sanyukta. Question: would like to ask for a message about my spiritual development. Thank you. Yes, spiritual development. He's saying you are already in this. The question you've asked me, you already have answered for yourself. Why would you choose to cast uncertainty upon your path? You already know you are on it. Do not cast uncertainty on your path. Cool. So yeah, getting this place of understanding what temptation is. I mean, because we're all living it in different degrees. If you're living in fear, if you're putting low vibrational substances in your body, you are living in what Michael's calling a state of temptation, which keeps your vibrational energy down. And you want to step out of that. You want to literally step out of anything that keeps your body vibration low, your mental vibration low, and your emotional field low. And only you, as the awareness, can make the changes in thought and in matter that your body and mind cannot do on themselves. Your body and mind cannot change themselves. They can't. They require you to initiate changes within them. You know, most people who are believing the body is who they are, if you believe your body is who you are, then you won't think you can change, because you're going whatever the body wants, you're going to think it's what the body needs. But the body can want things like caffeine, it can want things like processed sugars and processed foods, it can want to eat raw meat, it can do all kinds of things. The body can want those things, but it doesn't mean it's the right thing. And if you believe you are the body, then you become subjective to it, right? And then you go through what they call an old school aging process. You don't need to do that. Question from Buddha. How long does your anger usually last, and how do you work your way through it? My anger? Wow. I don't really do anger so much anymore. When it has occurred, and if something triggers it, it's usually just a couple of minutes before I've released it. It's usually not much longer than that. Now, it used to take a long time in the very beginning when they first came in and started directing me on how to eat, how to sleep, how to meditate. When they began to give us the instruction for the courses and classes, when that began to happen, I would have to sit sometimes for 3-4 hours, letting go of my fear, my annoyance, my anxiety, my depression, and literally they had me just sit there completely still, keeping the body still and quiet. And over time, as the body mind realized that I wasn't going to let it rule me, it surrenders to you. It starts to receive. It takes your instructions instead of you feeling like you're subjective to it. But now it's fairly quickly. In the beginning, it can take a lot of time, but right now it's pretty quick. You know, just a few minutes at the most, and I can transcend the anger. I can have it released from the system, have it transmuted out of the system. And again, you can do that in a couple of breaths. You can literally become aware of it, breathe in, and release it from your system. You perceive the anger. So my anger used to be a lot in the heart chakra. So I would breathe it, exhale it out from the system, right? And you can do that. Anybody can do that. Good morning. Wow. Thank you. Yeah, we'll send lots of love and light to Suzanne, whose daughter's going through a transformation, the most amazing transformation. So yeah, we're sending lots of love and light to Suzanne and her daughter. You know, it's really important when you realize that what we feel towards another influences and affects their energy field. It doesn't matter who they are, especially between parents and children. There's a very deep connection of energy between parents and children. So children and parents, you know, when you're in a state of thinking about each other, it's really important to think lovingly and joyfully and the best about each other, because that's the energy you'll communicate to them on a subconscious line, right? Because usually children and parents communicate a lot of information subconsciously. But send a lot of love and light and vitality and excitement and playfulness and joy out to the people that we love. Hold in our minds the best possibility for them. Release any fear we have about what may be going on in their lives, and hold the greatest possibility for them in our hearts. We all need to do that for each other. You know, that's a temptation, to be caught up in being worried about somebody. Don't worry about somebody. If you're going to worry about them, do it from a place of love. Be in state of seeing, no matter what my mind thinks, something amazing is happening for this person. It's important to learn to hold energies that will produce the exact results that you want to see in their life, rather than fear and uncertainty can do different things than love and joy will, always, without exception. Question from Katya. Can my spiritual guides tell me what I should do to receive messages more clearly? Oh, yes. They're showing me clearly. You need to before you call them in, you should be smudging the top of the crown and drinking water, drinking good, clean water. Do not try to hear with your ears. They're saying feel. They're saying to feel the images, the messages coming in through the top. Many of you expect to hear us in words, and yet we often communicate to you in a language that your mind can accept, which is often images and symbols, because you are so conditioned to thinking that you can only hear us with your ears, that many of you go listening with your ears but not hearing. But if you listen with your inner hearing, which can be that of your imagination, what you call your clairs, being able to listen from within, do not just assume that we will communicate to you in words, but we will also communicate to you in symbols and images, as many of you know from number sequences and other things. This is important you understand. For the symbols will always contain the message, even in words, once you understand how to train your interpretive abilities to properly interpret the information that we give to you. Cool. Great question. And it's so true. We're given symbols. Like a few minutes ago when I was given that symbol for Bogumila, about them, they gave me that symbol of it's like a conductor's one, but it's a paintbrush. I don't know what that symbol means for me, but then it says the symbol wasn't for me. The symbol was for Bogumila. So when you get information, especially for other people, it's not for you, it's for them. Don't be attached to the meaning of it, because the meaning will have relevance to them, and it shouldn't be about you at all. Wonderful. Let's see here. Question from Sunny. What skills should I develop that would help me? This is really important. This question's come up multiple times today. Yes, Michael. You all need to learn to hear without your ears and to see without your eyes. You need to release your attachment to this body as being the sole center for your communication. You as the soul are the center for your communication. Your awareness is the bridge between that which is of this world and that which is not of this world. Your ability to hear and see is the key to your understanding, receiving, and communicating. Understand this. That is the key, right? So the clairs, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance is how I would interpret that. Question from Jana. Is there a word or a mantra to help me for Friday morning driving exams? Oh, wow. We love that sort of thing. We love it when people come up with those sorts of things. It is not so much about the word. It is about the vibration. And so we would simply ask this question for you to consider. If you already passed your driver's exam, how would you feel? If you already had achieved that, how would you feel? The answer in that feeling is the solution. If you are already past your exam, you would feel very good. And we would simply say, it is that feeling of very good that you want to bring into the examination with you, for that feeling creates that precise event in time and space. So go into your exam with the feeling of having already passed it. And anytime your mind goes, you come back to the feeling, I've already passed. I've already passed. Go into it with the feeling. That's a really beautiful technique too. And all through my life, these guys have been guiding me. My angels, my guides have been with me my entire life. And it's only been the last couple of years that I've really gotten it, that these beings have been here and helped me so many times. And there was a time I was working with a gentleman who had a condition of drinking he wanted to get rid of, and he got rid of it. And then he called me about a year later and said, my wife's trying to get her CGA, her Certified General Accountant's degree exam. And she'd failed the exam 4 times, and she was going for the 5th time. So I went up and I met with her, and they inspired me with that idea to tell her, if you already passed the exam, how would you feel? And when that question was asked for, I watched as her whole body kind of went, oh, I feel amazing, right? And I said, that feeling, go into your exam with that feeling. And she passed it, of course. The next day, she passed the exam with flying colors. Because it's about the feelings that we have, the emotional energy that we hold on to that's determining what we are able to and not able to do. It's our emotions. It's why you can have those guys flying around in squirrel suits fearlessly, because they don't have that level of fear. They're emotionally in a place of excitement and playfulness. So they can do that. A lot of us wouldn't do that, right? Or jumping out of an airplane with a parachute. Most people don't do that. So the emotion that you hold in your system is what determines what you cannot do, what you will and will not do. And you have the ability to change those emotions at will, at any time, deliberately and intentionally. Good question. Yes, indeed. Patricia, I've never felt so hopeless, no matter what I try to do to correct my energy. Any advice? Am I trying too hard? Thank you. Oh, wow. The hopeless needs your hope. I don't know who this is, but I think this is one of your guardian angels, and they're saying your hopelessness needs your hope. Your hopelessness needs your hope. How can I explain that differently? Okay, so when you feel hopeless, communicate your love to your hopelessness. The things that they've given us to teach others are so simple. It's really simple. Give love to the part of you that feels hopeless. When you perceive it inside you, give it your love and watch what happens. Do this right now, Patricia. Like right now. Find that place of hopelessness inside you and start to give it love. Treat it like it's something separate from you that needs you to love it. Give your hopelessness your love and watch how the energy will start to change almost instantly. And if there's anybody else out there who's got feelings of hopelessness or anger or shame or guilt, access a feeling of love and give your love to that part of you which suffers. If someone came into your life right now and gave you love because they cared about you, would you not feel better? You have that same relationship inside yourself. Give your love to your suffering, and your suffering will be ameliorated. The temptation that we all face when we're not awake and aware enough is we indulge in our suffering. Oh, I feel terrible, and we indulge in it. Don't get in. That's losing yourself to temptation as a sufferer. When you perceive that depression or that anxiety, stop and give it love. I don't know why you're feeling this way inside me right now, anxiety, but I'm willing to love you even if I don't understand you. Or anger or fear or guilt. I don't know why you're feeling that way, but I'm willing to love you. You don't have to go back into the past to figure out why I'm feeling this way now. You just have to change the energy in the present moment. And this is what they brought us to now, is a realization that we do it all from here, from this present moment. We make all the changes, and we maintain those changes by the state of what we are being as an emotional energy right now and right here, right? So yeah, do that right now, Patricia. Find that hopelessness and give it love and watch how the energy changes in your body. Yeah, Tanya, it is hard. It was really hard for me to stay away from coffee. It was one of the hardest things to do. But I'll tell you, the process you go through, after about 24 hours of not drinking caffeine, you'll start to get caffeine withdrawal symptoms, which is usually a headache. Drink lots of water. When you stop drinking caffeine, drink lots of water. The other alternative is you can come and take our courses in February and learn how to do that in a group setting where we train you with a meal plan. And it's an amazing thing. You don't have to go through this alone. You're not meant to be alone. You can go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, if you want to know more about the courses and classes. Starts February the 13th. Question from Blaine for Kuan Yin. Wow. Okay. She's saying to me that she can't come through me. Kuan Yin and I have this thing, and she came through me about a year ago, and before when I asked her if she would come through me, she said I had to purify that my body was at too low a vibrational state for her to communicate directly through me. So I had to spend 24 hours literally fasting and just drinking lots and lots of water for like 24 hours. And then the next day she said she could come. So I would have to do something similar to that now. Kuan Yin's energy is so clear and so beautiful and so fine. She's a very refined being. But she's she's showing me to tell you to something about changing something in your mind. And I don't know what that'll mean for you, Blaine, but something about changing something in your mind. That's all I can get from her at this time. Changing something in your mind. Wow. Wow. What's the best way for me to clear unconscious blockages? Well, we just covered a little part of that process right now. The minute you start to extend love to any part of you that's suffering, it will change. It will change, literally. The minute you extend love to any part of you that's suffering, it starts to change. You start to change that energy. And sometimes you can be so overwhelmed with an emotion that you have to put a lot more effort to communicate your love to that emotion. But all of a sudden you start to feel a change. And again, patience and practice is how you learn to do it. Hi, Karen. Last night I felt compelled to basically say goodbye to my family. I feel that I was sent, that was sent to me from the dark ones who are running scared and don't wish to pay the piper. Hello, Karen. I'm not sure what the question is. It sounded more like a statement, but anytime you choose to step away from fear towards love is going to elevate you up and others around you. Like I said, I watched that person when they brought that light in to fill the room we were in last night. That person couldn't be in our presence anymore. They literally had to get up and leave the room, and it was fast. And then threw the coat on and ran out the door. Literally ran out the door. The light was that intense. So you don't have to worry about who's going to be in your life and who's not going to be in your life. Align yourself to a vibration of love, of joy, of tranquility, of peace, of playfulness. Align yourself to those energies. Those energies are going to set your relationships up. They're going to set your finances up. It's doing it right now for every one of us on this planet. Nobody on this planet is exempt from that truth. That your emotions that you're feeling at this moment are actually organizing the experiences around you all of the time. And the minute you change the emotional energy consciously, you'll start to see things change in the world around you. Then it becomes exciting. Now you're creating a life rather than feeling like it's imposed on you. And it doesn't matter whether there's COVID going on or earthquakes, whatever your dominant emotional state is, you are organizing matter around you, including all of your relationships, your finances, your health, your well-being. So important. Once you can master your emotions, you will master this physical dimension, and then you'll start working on higher dimensions in the light worker community, doing all kinds of stuff. Very fascinating. Oh, you're welcome. Yes, to stay in the present moment. He says that was to bring you into the present moment, to keep you present with what you have realized. He's saying, do not let yourself deviate, either forward or back, but be now. Be present now. The attunement will continue. It is not a finite process for one thing or one time. It will continue to open up other areas for you. But stay present and conscious and mindful of your light and your love, for these will enhance what has been done. I presume done with the attunement, he means. Yes, I understand. I think I got time for one more question, and then we're going to call it a day here until Friday. Question from Jana. Is it okay to give loving attention to one's doubt, or will this only add more energy to doubt? Do it. For us to continually tell you is not sufficient enough, but for us to say to you, do this now. Extend your love to your doubt and watch what happens to it. Extend your love to your doubt right now. Do not delay. If you're asking the question, it's because you are aware of it. And if you extend your love to it, you will know the truth, rather than our words being that truth for you. We are simply here to stimulate the awareness of that which is already true for you and all. So Extend your love to that doubt right now. Wow. Thank you so much. Well, guys, this has been a blast today. Um, Overcoming temptation. Oh, you're welcome, Suzanne. It's so important. You know, we don't realize what we think and feel doesn't matter where somebody you would think about is on the planet. It doesn't matter where they are in time or space, whether they're in their body or not. The minute you think about somebody with a certain quality of emotion, you're affecting them instantly. So if you're going to think about anybody in any way, do it from a vibration of love. Understand if there's somebody doing something really stupid and really ignorant, then do it. Then understand that they're being ignorant, they're being stupid, but recognize that it's from a place of ignorance. They're not being detrimental on purpose. Be loving about that. Communicate your love to them. That communication of love will inspire them. It will cause a shift in them, right? Just like if you're listening to music and suddenly you like that song and you find your body moving to the music, it's the same thing. Except now you're broadcasting an energy as a form of love. So whenever you think about anybody that you love, or even people that you've been angry at, choose to drop your anger and extend love out to them, right? And so you don't get caught up in that temptation of being in a negative vibrational frequency. The minute you think negatively about somebody else, you actually pull yourself into that energy. And then you pull them further into the energy. And that's why arguments increase in intensity, because one person sends out a negative energy, the other person catches it and wants to stop that uncomfortable feeling. They send it back, and suddenly you got this weight. They keep piling on the weight. And it doesn't matter whether they're with you or not. If you're thinking that son of a bitch, look what he did to me. If you're thinking that kind of thought in your mind about a certain person, you're affecting their energy. And you can promote their well-being by thinking of them and wishing and thinking nothing but good about them, wishing them all the best, and seeing them, envisioning them the way you want them to be in your life. You'll be amazed at how that will impact the people around you if you do it consistently and repeatedly enough. I have to do the dog question. Okay. So somebody's asking here. I'll take one more question. Any advice? It's from Jana. Any advice to strengthen my dog's left back paw? She's 10 years old in December. Again, the first thing, as a Reiki master practitioner, the first thing that came to my consciousness, because they're giggling, right? Because they know it's fairly simple. Because this is for you to give this light to your dog. So literally, starting at the top of the leg, take your hands on either side of the dog's leg at the top and work your way down the leg slowly. Be mindful of the flow that you feel between your hands when you're doing this. The flow between your hands as you move down the paw. Just go slowly, don't rush it. Allow yourself to feel the energy that flows between your hands and allow that energy to reorganize what's happening in the dog's physiology. Because they're saying this is just a weakness. This is a weakness. Yes, that it won't be just the dog that will be well by this, it will be you. There's a connection between the dog's weak paw and something going on in you emotionally. But you can ameliorate it with the intention of healing it, going through it. Because what you do unto others, you do unto yourself. Whatever you're going to do or whatever you're going to put out, you're going to put onto yourself. So you want to put healing in that dog and make some corrections internally. They won't tell me what the emotion is in regard to, but it's something you need to let go of. Anyway, I want to say thank you for your questions. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. The energies are going to be getting very intense over the next week, ascension-wise. So be prepared. Be prepared to extend love to your suffering. In your meditations, choose to stay aligned to love. Don't attack any part of yourself. Give it love. Because there's going to be a lot of stuff being transmuted. Humanity is relinquishing all of its fear. 72,000 years of fear being given the opportunity to be transmuted, in a short time frame, right? And there's lots of other changes coming. We'll discuss that probably on Friday, the changes to come emotionally for us all as a species. Wonderful. Well, guys, thank you for all your questions. I want to say thank you, everybody. Have a joyful, wonderful day with much love filled in it. Please have much love today. And we will see you on Friday at 10 a.m. And bye for now.